What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video on The Flash. Guys, this is going to be a review on the latest episode 17 of Season 6, Liberation. Now guys, this pretty much has like a main plot and then a tiny subplot, and it really pushes the plot forward for the next episode. So we're going to talk about everything in this episode. I'll give my theories and how this season will end, and what I thought about the episode overall. But guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up, new channel, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Flash review. So yeah guys, pretty much with this episode, we really pushed the plot forward with the whole Iris and Ethan McCulloch thing with the whole Mirrorverse. We see Barry, pretty much he's suspicious now. Because last episode, Iris kicked him out of his own home. Which guys, I didn't really tell what I thought about that on my last review, but I thought it was kind of dumb. Like come on, he owns the house, and he has his name on it, but he still allows Iris to kick him out. So that was kind of weird. But here he finally figures out, he's like, okay, Iris is not the real Iris. He's like going through all this stuff. He's actually being like a CSI. He's like figuring out all this stuff about how she can't cook pancakes well, about how she hit that glass over a guy's head in like 5 episodes ago. Like guys, Iris has been in the Mirrorverse for 7 episodes now. It's been a long time, so she's not even out by the end of this episode. Hopefully Iris gets out next episode, so we finally start to wrap this thing up. But for now, we see Barry pretty much, he's suspicious going through all this. Cecile, she's on both sides. She's like, okay, I believe in Iris and Barry. And Barry finally finds out that, okay, he found the photo that Camille took of Iris, and that's how Camille found out that she was a Mirrorverse and she got sent to the Mirrorverse. But here we see Barry try to use like a similar thing to actually put onto this fake Iris, but it actually reverses, and they all go against Barry. Like you see Nash, you see Iris, you see Cecile, all go against him. And when he was put in like the prison inside of Star Labs, I was kind of like, alright, is he really gonna be stuck there all episode? I'm like, hopefully they push it forward quickly. But Cecile finally decides like, hey, I believe in you, you go take this down. And he shows down up, fights off Mirror Iris, and really this episode really pushed the pace. Like a lot happened in this episode. Like at the start of it, I thought that like, okay, did I miss something? Because we really go directly into this whole thing about a new kind of particle accelerator type thing to make like the Speed Force, a new Speed Force. You see Cisco, Ralph trying to figure it out, and like, wait, so Reverse Flash, our greatest enemy, can figure this out by himself, but us great scientists of like Star Labs can't figure this out. And Barry's kind of like, he's frustrated because like, I can't make this new Speed Force, I'm losing my speed, I don't know where my wife is. So he's trying to figure this all out, he's trying to save Iris. And guys, Cecile actually had a good part in this episode. Seeing her like go on both sides, try to figure this out, and she actually figured out, hey, Iris is not real Iris, was actually pretty good. She had great scenes, because usually she has that whole, okay, she's with Joe, she was with like Chester, like she has okay scenes, but in this episode she probably has some of the strongest scenes she's had in the like entire season. But guys, from here we see Barry fight off fake Iris, and it was actually a pretty dope scene. I really liked it, with how you see, so all these mirrors are in the apartment, right? And at the middle of the episode, Camilla, Singh, and guys, we actually found out Singh was actually a mirror version last episode, which I didn't think was that important last episode. It isn't really here, like he's just another mirror version. But what we see is they plant all these mirrors around the apartment, and when we get to the final battle between Barry and the fake Iris, it's actually pretty cool. You see pretty much Iris goes like T-1000, like from Terminator. She has like these long different like sword type hands. She slashes at Barry back and forth. It actually looks pretty cool. And then Barry goes by all these mirrors. You see like go through the mirrors, comes out of the mirror, stabs it at all different directions. Then there's like a mirror above him. It drops, and she like stabs him in the hip, stabs him in the stomach, and it's a cool scene, right? Like it hurt a little bit because you could feel Barry. Like Barry gets stabbed a lot, and he falls to the ground. And while this is happening, you see Iris in the Mirrorverse with Eva McCulloch, pretty much the villain, which she's not really a villain, like full-on villain. She's not evil, but she has some bad tendencies. Iris does find out what she's been doing this episode. Like she finds out that Eva was the one that like pretty much pulled her into the Mirrorverse. Iris gets pretty much like in captivity. Like now she's figured it out, but he doesn't want her to like ruin her plans. So we see Iris watching Barry just get like pummeled by this fake Iris. But then this fake Iris actually decides, you know what, I'm gonna be myself. And Eva McCulloch's like, nope, that's not what's gonna happen. So she kills her right in front of Barry, gets out of the Mirrorverse, and she pretty much hits Barry again. You actually see some humanity with Eva right here, because Eva McCulloch could easily just kill Flash right there. She could easily just stabbed him a bunch of times, killed him. But she doesn't do that. She just decides to walk around him and leave. which is pretty good. So it shows that she's not really evil. She just has like some plans that could lead in like evil directions. I really think that the more evil guy in this whole season is actually Carver, because last episode we saw some evil stuff with him. Like, he didn't care. He was like, okay, I'll kill Joe, I can kill people. He doesn't care about that. Where Eva, pretty much, Mirror Master, she actually cares about killing people. She's like, I'm gonna try to avoid that. She actually just wants to carry out her plan. So guys, that was interesting. And the episode ends with Barry and Iris talking to each other. Like, that was nice. But they need to get Iris out of the Mirrorverse soon, because it's been happening so much. She's been in the Mirrorverse for 7 episodes, and coming next episode, 8 episodes. So they need to get her out, because it's kind of like, it's not, the storyline's not dragging, it's interesting. I like it, the whole Mirrorverse, really cool. But they really need to get her out of there so we can push like the climax. Because yeah, you can technically say this episode was the climax, but until we get Iris out of there and we really start to see Eva McCulloch's like plan actually finish off, that will be the climax. It'll be really cool. But guys, other things that happened in this episode, which I thought was the coolest thing, like the whole main plot with Iris and Barry and all, that was cool. Like, they really got good toward the end. Like, in the first half of the episode with them, Barry approaching Iris, and like, you're not my real Iris. Like, that's good and all. But at the end of the episode, started getting really good. So I'm excited for next episode, like the last 2 episodes of this season, to see how that works out. But what we also see in this episode is Camilla, Mayor Iris, and Singh all go to pretty much meet up with Bloodwork. Now, this was awesome, alright? I'll say that. Seeing Bloodwork again, which actually has become one of my favorite villains in The Flash, because the actor just plays him so well. Because at the first half of this season, he was really good, but seeing him back now for some reason just makes me feel like, man, he's actually a really good villain. Because you see him get let out. Camilla actually kills herself. The mirror Camilla, which I don't think she's like dead, like the real Camilla, because you see the fake Iris get killed, but then the real Iris is still alive, so I don't think the real Camilla is dead. But we see this fake Camilla kill herself to let Ramsey out, and you see Ramsey hit Singh back, looks pretty dope, and then you see Ramsey pretty much grab Iris, gives her like this, like, the lifeblood, and she's scared to give it to Eva, and for some reason Eva needs this lifeblood to pretty much carry out her plan, which I don't know why, but I'm interested to find out. But guys, the biggest thing about the scene is that Bloodwork stays. He stays at Argus, stays in captivity, and it's like, I'm just carrying out the long game. So we know that he'll show up in future episodes. Probably not this season. Like, I barely doubt he'll show up in the last 2 episodes. I hope he doesn't, because I don't want his whole arc to be rushed. Like, if he's going to return, I want a cool arc, alright? Like, I think he'll return next season, like the first half, with another villain, and actually probably with Ian McCall, because like with this season ending shortly, with it being cut back 3 episodes, probably this story will carry out into next season for like the first half, which I'm really excited for. But yeah, guys, that was probably my favorite part of the episode, that scene. It's just so cool. Like, I didn't expect it. I was like, alright, Bloodwork's back? That's actually pretty cool. And as the scene went on, it was just well done. But yeah, guys, the acting in this episode was pretty good. The girl who plays Iris did a great job. Barry was really good. And the only actor that I was kind of like, about was pretty much Ian McCulloch's actor. Because in the scene at the end where she was like, oh no, she doesn't love her husband, but she does. And she's like hitting the wall and stuff. I was like, alright, that's a little overacting, but whatever. So she needs to kind of make that a little better. But she may make it better in the next few episodes. Who knows? But guys, another part of this episode is like a tiny subplot with like Killer Frost, Ralph, and Cisco. Which, that kind of threw me off, because you see Cisco and Ralph, after they were building like the whole new Speed Force, they go to Caitlin's apartment and she was trying to heal herself from like her fight with Sunshine, which sounds fine, but she ended up getting cold and stuff. Cisco and Ralph tried to pretty much bring her back by pretty much zapping her through Ralph's like whole stretchy powers and stuff, which sounds funny, but it felt so random. It was very random, and then Caitlin says, I know somebody who can help me out, my mother. I'm like, alright, like, I don't care about that, honestly. Like, last season, season 5, we see Caitlin go against her father, Icicle, and the whole mother. Like, Caitlin's story arc with her family, for me, it's never really good. Like, I always get bored by it. Like, it has never been really intriguing for me. Like, it could. Like, last season, when they said Icicle was coming, I got really excited, but then they just let me down. So I'm not really excited for this with Caitlin's mother coming back, because whatever, I don't really care about that. And the problem with that is, if we only have 84 minutes left of this season. Technically, we only have 84 minutes, because each episode is 42 minutes. We have 2 episodes left. So, if they're going to dedicate a subplot in episode 18 or 19 to this whole Caitlin meeting with her mother, that's pretty much wasting time from maybe seeing Godspeed, or seeing Ian McCulloch's whole storyline, or Barry and Iris trying to get Iris in the Mirrorverse, the interesting stuff. So, devoting it to the whole Caitlin, her mom's subplot, I don't know if I want that. But then again, if they pretty much push the subplot to next season, it'll make it feel even more random in this episode. So I didn't really like that. I kind of docked the episode because of that. It wasn't a lot in this episode. It was like 4 or 5 minutes, or maybe not even 5 minutes of this whole subplot, but it just felt so random, alright? Because it was like 2 scenes separated out throughout the episode, and I don't know really why it was there. But yeah, guys, overall, this episode was pretty good. It was not as good as last episode. I really liked last episode's whole Ragdoll and Joe's thing. But this episode was still really good. The acting was on point. The action was really, I'll say that, the action was pretty dope. I really liked that final scene. And blood work being back, like that really elevated the episode. Because if you didn't have blood work in this episode, it'd been solid, but nothing really groundbreaking. But having blood work return really makes it groundbreaking. It gets me excited for what they're going to do in future seasons or future episodes. Like, guys, tell us below where you think they'll take Bloodwork's character. Like, I honestly think he'll return, team up with a villain, not actually him being alone, because we already seen that. We already seen that in like the first half of season 6. So maybe they'll return to Ethan McCulloch and bring this all together. That'd be pretty cool. But guys, tell us in the section below what you thought about that. Do you think Iris will get out next episode? What do you think about Ian McCulloch? Do you think she's good villain? Like, I think she's solid, but not as good as Bloodwork. And are you excited for next episode? Now, let me tell you my thoughts on next episode, because the promo looks really cool. You see Barry fight off Godspeed. Guys, I've been waiting for this because they screwed up Godspeed last season. Like, they really screwed him over. Getting beat up by Nora. Like, I didn't like that. Like, that episode last season was good, but the worst part about it was Godspeed, and the episode's named Godspeed, so that didn't really work. But here we see Godspeed returning next episode, the penultimate episode of the season, and the promo really promises a lot. I hope they don't let me down, because I'm really excited for that. But guys, tell me what you think about that. Are you excited to see Godspeed? And yeah, that's one way you in the comment section below. And overall, I'm give this episode an 8.3 out of 10. I recommend it. I thought it was solid. It could have been a little better in parts. Like I said, the whole Killer Frost thing, that was random. And the acting from Ian McCulloch's actress, like, she'd be a little better. But other than that, it's more just nitpicks, really. Like, it was still a really solid episode. I do recommend it. And I'm excited for how this season will end, because this season's been great so far, and Eric Wallace is just killing it. So yeah, guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up on the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next Flash review. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, because I went over everything, all my thoughts and stuff. I'd like to hear yours in the comment section below. But yeah, guys, that's the video, and peace out.